Hello, today is September 8th. Wow. I am recovering from a bit of a cold, which some people would interpret to mean definitively, adamantly, positively, I'm infected with the evil coronavirus COVID-19. Although none would be able to definitively prove it in any capacity, despite their begging and pleading to get a test that's been rejected by the very man that made it, saying that it can't be used to determine whether or not someone has contracted a coronavirus, and yet we continue to use that apparently as the gold standard, the PCR. Not to mention I've heard multiple accounts of the ineffectiveness and the invalidity of the test, as some people have tested animals and pieces of fruit that have come back positive, and the general explanation that it is merely a widening or constricting of parameters that they're looking at genetic material to determine whether or not you are positive or negative. So, if COVID had never existed, I would sit here and tell you I have a pretty mild head cold, but everyone else seems to be losing their shit about it. That being said, I've taken the last couple of days to rest my body and my mind. I have not tried to read anything. I have not tried to listen to any of Mark Passio. This is probably the longest I've gone without consuming any of that information. I have watched a few movies, some good allegorical films. Run down those real quick. First one was Noah, Russell Crowe from 2016, I believe. That is Darren Aronofsky as far as the director goes. Really talented guy. He did Mother, he made Pi, and he made Requiem for a Dream. So if you saw any of those, you know that this biblical storytelling would be anything but a straight Christian rendition of a story. Some of the effects were cool. It certainly brought in the existence of alternate beings right away. These giant creatures made out of stone. But the concepts in general that it put forth would definitely make someone question if they're a hardcore Bible thumper, how the whole thing played out. Good movie. Next one was Jupiter Ascending, which was the director, the Wachowskis, which is the duo that made all the Matrix movies. So, if you liked the Matrix because it told us what's really happening, you could definitely gain something from Jupiter Ascending. The cast maybe would be a little more misleading. Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis, so not as powerful as far as the character acting goes. But there's some lines in that movie that are just blatant in your face once you start to, go on your spiritual discovery and your path of truth, when they're describing the Earth as just another planet with people treated like a farm, that we are harvested. You don't really have to read between the lines to hear what they're saying, and there's very good reason to believe that is exactly what's happening on this planet, despite how far up our rear ends our heads seem to be. And then I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. These are all brilliant directors, is what these movies were. Of course, that's Stanley Kubrick. That movie is back in 1968, which, hard to describe that movie. It's like a few different short stories that are all tied together through this big black stone-ish type of monolith structure. I'm not even sure what it represents, but there's some great allegory in that. So that's how I spent my last couple of days, and then I started listening to Michael Tsarion, which I'm at the point in Passio's podcast, I'm in the 140s, 150s, where he started to talk about his theory on origins, human origins, which is huge. I mean, natural law is the most important thing he wants us to know. But once you get a grasp on that, the big question ultimately everyone wants to know is, why are we here? Where did we come from? Why? And you have to continue to allow your paradigms to melt like gooey marshmallows in a fire if you're going to be able to maturely explore the possibility of where we really came. Once you can accept that the modern religions are just that, very modern renditions and interpretations of anything, and you can get beyond that and accept, hey, maybe Christianity is not really explaining everything, much less everything in a truthful manner, then you can allow yourself much more deeper probing into the possibility of non-human entity interference or intervention in terms of the origins of what we consider our current human race. And if you're really into scientism, you'd have to devolve yourself of the Darwinian mindset that somehow we evolved just the way that Mr. Darwin explained, even though there's no actual proof in the fossil record that that's where we as humans came from. So, if you can get over those stumbling blocks, which are very important because both of those are just holding you back from truth, then you can start to explore these alternate theories, including a intervention or interference of non-human entities commingling with life forms here on Earth and creating or giving birth to or crossbreeding or somehow becoming involved with the beginning of our current species. So, in those episodes, 140s and 150s, he very frequently references Michael Tsarion, who's got this, 20-disc set of oracles and origins that I just started watching a couple hours in, and it is really great supplemental information. Clearly Mark learned much from Mr. Tsarion, and he even references Jordan Maxwell, who has come up before, who predates both of them. I believe he's still alive. So, yeah, I'm fighting the cold bug. I did talk to Marie. Again, that's my biodecoding friend. And it's always important, you don't just tell them you're sick, you describe your symptoms. Yeah, I had a minor fever, but I was having a headache, and she recommended, I wasn't able to at the time, she recommended an enema, because as we know, there's a gut-brain connection, part of the gut being your intestines. If you're able to flush that out, usually you can resolve some of the pain and discomfort associated with that. As far as why I got sick, I'm not 100% sure. Certainly being aware that this new, quote, variant is floating around, it's in the back of everyone's mind subconsciously. This is also a time of year when a lot of people tend to get sick. Typically you see that with kids and parents, kids going back to school, parents having this feeling of loss with their children. That can usually bring it on. I know I'm just kind of overworked and stressed out, so my headache is probably associated with what she said. I'm trying to find solutions, which is hitting the nail on the head, listening to Mark Passio as far as where my mind's been. And in the scheme of things, of all the colds, whatever I've had, each one gets easier and shorter as far as the symptoms go. So, no, I did not go get the test. Didn't see any point. I'm just treating some of the systems as I work towards the root cause, allowing myself to rest as much as possible. All right, that's it.